Noah says he's going full time. Hey, Jen and Travis, longtime listener, want to get some advice on my YouTube situation. I had a video go viral about 2 months ago with 700,000 views, getting me monetized and making me over $10,000. 700,000 views with over $10,000 is a lot of money. Like, what CPM is that? That's crazy.
But they might have really long videos.
What niche are you in? Sheesh. I've had a few videos since then doing well, and I'm in a situation where I actually can go full time on YouTube. And I want your advice about actually becoming a full time creator. Any tips on videos out on a schedule, building a better system, or just general advice? Yeah, this is a great question. We don't get it a lot because a lot of people are trying to get to that point. First, congratulations. I don't know if you're in America. If you are, you should be setting aside, just to be safe, 33% of whatever you're making from YouTube and never touching it. Put it in a bank account because you're going to need it for taxes. A lot of people don't think about this. You are not taxed on your income from YouTube. You are responsible for that. And the IRS wants their money every single year. So I feel like this is the most important thing to understand. Set aside the money. So if you get $10,000, you better put $3,000 aside. Now, is that more than what you need to cover? Yes, but you never know, right? Yep. Number two, depending on the type of content you're doing, you might want to set up an LLC. Now, for gaming channels and stuff, probably don't, and even for smaller channels, probably don't, but it's a good thing to do if you can. Protects you from liability. If you're not talking about anything controversial or not really doing anything with brands or anything, you're probably okay for quite a while, but it's just a good thing to have. Number three, you gotta look up things like healthcare services, because now if you're gonna be on your own, you don't have benefits. You gotta pay for your own. If you're young and you're not worried about it, you're YOLOing, maybe you're living at home, maybe that's okay, but still, like if you have to go to the hospital, I don't know. Like, I don't know how old this creator is. So you have to think about all those things. And probably the biggest thing is, unlike a job, you get a consistent paycheck. YouTube is not consistent at all. Here's the thing I once said, and it's so true. A long time ago I said this because I'm very smart. I said, imagine going to work, working the same amount of hours that you normally do, and your boss says, you did a great job, but we're gonna pay you 30% less this week. But don't worry, next week, you can work the same amount of hours. We're gonna pay you like 25% more. And you're like, first of all, that's whack, but okay. I guess I'm gonna make it up next week. Okay, you do that. Then you come in January and you work the same amount of hours, and like, we're gonna give you 25% of what you normally make, but you gotta work the same amount of hours, or in this particular case, even more. We're actually gonna make you work more hours and make 25% of the money. Oh, there was this invalid phone number call that you got. The traffic on your way to work was invalid. So we're not gonna give you any money for this video at all that you spent all these hours on. That's the biggest thing. You have to be aware that it is consistently inconsistent. What are your tips?
Have at least 3 months of expenses saved up. And that includes everything Travis mentioned: healthcare, taxes, rent, anything. What Travis is alluding to there is the ebbs and flows of CPMs throughout the year. You are reliant in one sense. I mean, you'll have probably other avenues too, Patreon or sponsors or whatever, but like, you are partially reliant on the ad services that YouTube provides. And so if companies decide to spend less because there's a recession or something, you are getting to weather that firsthand. Like, there's so many things. So at minimum, I'd have 3 months. I would feel even more comfortable if creators kept about 6 months of savings. When I say 6 months, I mean, you can cover literally every single one of your bills in that time frame with even money left over, so you can take a mental health break and go see a movie or something, because you are completely independent and you don't get predictable metrics where you can say, okay, like, our company growth is on this nice trajectory now. Look, no, it ebbs and it flows. Maybe you try a new video and it doesn't do as well, but that took up the slot of a normal video that really does well. But now, oh crap, like, it's not just about the views anymore. Now it's your AdSense. Now it's your sponsorship opportunities. There's so many things like that. Like, I'll tell you this, working with folks that help you get sponsors and stuff, they will tell you that you need to get sponsors recent successes on your channel, and you need a few in a row to show that right now you are consistent. It doesn't help that if you used to get 300,000 views per video, if you're getting 10,000 views per video today, you need recent success. So if you go through a bit of a lull and you're used to getting sponsors, that will dry up until you come back to where you were getting more sponsorships. So all of those things, I don't want to scare anybody, but this should be talked about more. I think going full-time on YouTube is a cool thing, and a lot of people do it, but people don't talk about like those stressors enough. Diversifying as well. Some folks stream on Twitch. That's part of their diversification. Like I said, Patreon, things like that. So if you have a job right now and you are enjoying it enough to not, want to just quit tomorrow, see how long you can stay there while also having YouTube help build the gravy in the background. So that builds your savings. And then once you hit that 3 months or 6 months or whatever comfortable point you hit with your savings, then I would say it's time to go full time. But 1 month where you get $10,000, was it that for a month?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. But that's still, the next month could be less than half that. I've seen that happen. So just be aware that you are not at a benchmark of, I make $10,000 a month. You don't necessarily, but you could. You got to be be ready for anything.
And the other thing is, like, for me, taxes became super complicated. A lot of times you're not using the free tax software. You can't even do it yourself because it's so complicated between the things you can write off. Again, this is US only. I don't know anything about overseas. I actually now pay someone to do that, and that's an additional expense. While you can write things off for your business, which is great, it rarely kind of offsets the other costs associated with life as a content creator. Again, not putting down being a full-time, because it can be amazing, it can be freeing, it can be the most amazing thing you ever had. But I think some people jump into it a little too early without really thinking about it. So definitely take your time, and then you can have perhaps the dream job you've always wanted. But of course, the bad thing is you're your own boss, which sounds great, but if you're a terrible boss, that's a bad thing.